Hey, thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. I'm glad you made it. A delay in our pay raise announcement is inevitable almost at this point. I wanted to touch on this to share with you that we will be having a delay more than likely with our COLA, cost of living adjustment, or effectively our pay raise is going to be delayed with regard to the announcing of what that number will actually be. I'll be keeping an eye on it, but I did want to share this with you and share some of this information that I was able to scratch up here. Before we jump into it, though, I do want to throw out a special thank you to Roger Evanson. Roger, thank you so much for the super comment, super chat. I really do appreciate your support very much. Roger Evanson, thank you. All right, so jumping into this, the government shutdown obviously is ongoing, and that it began October 1st, right? And here we are. So this will likely delay the announcement of the 2026 Social Security cost of living adjustment. Now, remember that the cost of living adjustment is based on all the data that comes through the CPI, right? The Consumer Price Index, and then the different indices within there, which we utilize the CPIW. Nobody's working on that data because they're all furloughed. So when they come back, they're going to have to play catch up, and then we're going to be delayed. Now, for those that don't know, the way this works is every year, Congress allows the VA to mirror the Social Security Administration's cost of living adjustment. So once Social Security announces it, then the VA will adopt it. All right, so let's move on here. The announcement was scheduled. I guess it kind of still is, but probably not going to happen. Was scheduled for October 15th, 2025, but the Federal Bureau of Labor Statistics is currently closed, meaning the required September inflation data will not be available in time. Now, what does this mean for Social Security recipients and, by default, veterans benefits recipients that are impacted by COLA? What does this mean for us, right? And some of us collect both, right? There's plenty of you out there that collect Social Security and your VA disability compensation or pensions or what have you, and you're wondering what these numbers are going to be. So what does this mean? Payments will not be delayed. Okay, payments will not be delayed. Your monthly Social Security benefits and your VA disability compensation or pension, what have you, will continue to be paid on time and are not affected by the government shutdown. Social Security benefits are funded separately from the annual budget process through their own trust fund and are considered mandatory spending. And for VA disability compensation, that's advanced appropriations, so we're good for whatever, a year or whatever it is. The COLA itself, the cost of living adjustment itself, is not at risk. The underlying inflation data for September has already been collected, so the COLA amount will not be impacted. Just the timing of the official announcement. So it's just getting dragged on, right? Because nobody's crunching the numbers, because nobody's there. The new COLA will take effect in January of 2026. Once the shutdown ends and the BLS can release September data, the Social Security Administration will then calculate and announce the 2026 COLA. The new adjusted benefit amount will still begin January 2026 as scheduled. So, an expected number is probably a 2.7, maybe 2.8% increase is kind of the guesses that are out there, the projections, the forecasts for the increase for COLA. You know, it's not official yet. We got to wait. The most recent estimates from organizations like the Senior Citizens League project that the 2026 COLA will be around 2.7%. Percent of COLA, precedent for a COLA delay. This is not the first time a government shutdown has delayed a COLA announcement. The 2013 shutdown in October 2013, a 16-day shutdown delayed the announcement of the 2014 COLA by about 2 weeks, but the 1.5% increase still took effect on the schedule in January 2014. All right, and since we're on the topic of COLA, the cost of living adjustment, essentially our pay raise, there is a little article here that I wanted to share. The 2026 Social Security COLA predicted to exceed 2025. What this means for your benefits. The Social Security cost of living adjustment for 2026 will be announced in October. Again, we don't know exactly when due to the shutdown. The Senior Citizens League, nonpartisan group for seniors, announced its estimate that COLA would rise to 2.7%. So that's one prediction. Now, there is another prediction out there, and this is slightly higher increase based on the latest government data, inflation data that's out there. And that's from Mary Johnson, who actually did work for the Senior Citizens League as a Social Security and Medicare policy analyst. She believes that the COLA will be 2.8%. So we could venture to say it's going to be probably 2.7 or 2.8%. Although a slightly lower COLA of 2.7% is possible, where there would have been virtually no inflation growth in September, is what Johnson said. So she's saying, sure, it could be 2.7, but that means that September has to be flat for inflation, and she thinks that it's not going to be exactly flat. The Social Security Administration adjusts benefits based on the cost of living. Each year, it calculates the adjustments using the Consumer Price Index for the urban wage earners and clerical workers, that is the CPIW, for July, August, and September this year, and compares them to the same months last year. A 2.7% COLA would raise the average monthly benefit for retired workers by $54, while a 2.8% COLA would raise it by $54.70, a whole 70 cents more. Now, I will throw this out there. We'll kind of end it on this little bit of a topic. Most people can agree that COLA doesn't seem quite enough as compared to the full year of inflation. It seems as though our COLAs are doing this and our inflation is doing this. So sure, they're both going up, but inflation is outpacing COLA. There has been calls to change how COLA is calculated. Again, COLA, cost of living adjustment, effectively our pay raise for our benefits, that increase. One of the ways that has floated around in Congress on both the House and the Senate side was changing the indice used. Instead of utilizing the CPIW, utilize the CPIE, which is the Consumer Price Index for the elderly. And if that indice was to have been used over the course of the last 20 years, on average, we would have seen approximately a 0.25% higher adjustment year over year. Now, 0.25% by itself, not that big of a deal. But when you compound that, it ticks up a lot. And, kind of like compounding interest. So with that, thanks for watching. I appreciate you very much. Have a great one. And remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.